Hello everyone. This is term 2 and we are starting with technology, and in term 1 we have covered 4 units for technology that will still be examinable in the June examination. Okay, so today we are starting with unit 5, technology, and it talks about the impact of technology and processing. Let's look at the learning objectives. They say that after you've completed this unit, you must be able to demonstrate your knowledge and understanding of, number 1, the positive impact of technology. Okay, let me take that up a bit. So you must be able to demonstrate the knowledge and understanding of the positive impact of technology. Okay, so obviously technology can affect us positively or negatively. So you need to know the positive impact of technology, and under the positive impact of technology, you need to know the advantages of technology. You need to know specific fields where technology makes positive impact, and you need to know the developing materials, which are 1, new or improved materials, and number 2 is adapting materials, which is reinforcing. It's adapting materials to withstand forces, which are reinforcing. Okay, and you also need to know the negative impact of technology. You also need to know and understand how to reducing the negative impact of technology. Okay, so we start with the introduction. They say that technology is part of our everyday life. In this unit, we will discuss the positive and negative impact of technology. But before we do that, you need to know the important terminology. Okay, so you need to know these two terms. Number 1, biodegradable. This means that a material is capable of being broken down. Okay, biodegradable, it means it's capable of being broken down or degraded. Degraded means capable of being broken down. So the material, if the material is biodegradable, it is capable of being broken down to natural elements by exposure to sunlight, water, or dampness, to bacteria, enzymes, and wind abrasion. Okay, so the example when they talk about something that is biodegradable, for example, the card box. Okay, card box or paper over time can be broken down, okay, to natural elements, but plastic is not biodegradable. Okay, but you need to know this definition of biodegradable. If you are asked to define biodegradable, please don't write me stories that you think it is. This is the definition. Biodegradable material is material that is capable of being broken down to natural elements by exposure to sunlight, water or dampness, bacteria, enzymes, and wind abrasion. And environmental friendly, this means that the material does not harm the environment and is biodegradable. So all biodegradable material, they are environmental friendly because they don't harm the environment. Okay, so plastic, for example, is not material friendly because it can harm the environment. Very important to know the definition of the terms. Now let us look at the positive impact of a technology. And under that, we're going to look at the advantages of technology. The first advantage is that technology improves our quality of life by providing solutions to problems and meeting needs. That is why all the time when we do the projects, we are trying to solve certain problems and meet the needs of the customer. So one advantage of technology is that it improves the quality of life by providing solution to problems and meeting needs. Number two, technology saves time. Number three, technology saves labor. So you need to know these three advantages of technology as they are. And what are the specific field where we can apply or where technology has a positive impact? Let's look into this. Okay, so technology has a positive impact. Number one, in food technology. For example, new products that require less preparation, save time, or have more nutrients are constantly developed. Like your 3 minutes noodle, okay, it requires less preparation, it saves time, and still you get the nutrients. Okay, so technology has positive impact in food technology. Number two, technology has positive impact in medical technology. For example, better machines that help to make more accurate diagnosis or provide better treatment, organ transplant, and artificial limbs. Okay, so we know now if somebody's hand is broken and it has to be cut off, they can make an artificial hand or arm for that person. That is all because of technology. So technology has a positive impact also in medical technology. Another positive impact on technology is on computer technology. For example, cheaper computers that are similar in size but have larger storage capacity and more memory and processing power. Also in energy supply technology, for example, these days we've got solar power and wind power. Space technology, for example, space stations, space travel, and satellites going to the moon, going to the space, and putting some technology that will do the analysis for us. And also technology has positive impact on textile technology. For example, new fabrics that can stretch, don't require ironing, and are cheaper to produce. And also technology has positive impact on communication. For example, calculators, computers, telephones, cell phones, television, and satellite. This is how we communicate these days. Okay, so if you are asked a question to say name the fields where technology has a positive impact and write an example, you can pick any of this. You must say food technology, and the example is that new products that require less preparation, save time, or have more nutrients are constantly developed. Please don't write what you think. Study the notes, study the textbook, and answer according to what you have learned in the textbook. I really plead to you, study your work, okay? Because if you don't study, you will just write stories that you think of. But if you study, you will be able to reproduce the work that you have studied. So the fields that have where technology has positive impact, it's food technology, medical technology, computer technology, energy supply technology, space technology, textile technology, and communications. And examples here, they are written next to each and every one. So please study and know this. I repeat myself to make sure that you do study. Okay, so let's look at the developing materials. We've got two types of developing material. The first one is the new or improved materials, and the second one is the adapting materials to withstand forces. So let's look at the first one. Okay, the first one, under new or improved materials, they tell us that new or improved materials are developed that replace rare natural materials, and some of these materials are environmental friendly. We know what it means now. They don't harm the environment and are biodegradable. And we have biodegradable. They are capable of being broken down to natural elements by exposure to sunlight, water, or dampness, bacteria, enzymes, and wind abrasion. For example, new biodegradable plastic is made from plant oils and corn flour that can quickly break down to natural elements. So we've got a new biodegradable plastic that can biodegrade. Okay, and then we have under new or improved material, we have remanufactured products made from waste or recycled materials, such as packaging made from recycled paper. So if you are asked for new or improved materials, it is three of them. It's environmental friendly, it is biodegradable, and it is remanufactured. Okay, and you know the definition of each, including remanufactured products. And we look at the second developing material, which is adapting material to withstand forces. So under adapting material, we've got concrete, which is made from cement, sand, and gravel and water. The mixture hardens into a stone like durable material that is relatively inexpensive, which means this is not expensive. It can be molded in a variety of shapes. It has a high compression strength but has a weak tensile strength. When concrete is reinforced with steel rods, metal beams, and even mesh, which have a high tensile strength, it becomes much stronger. Okay, so this is a concrete mixture. As you see it, they are pouring it on the foundation. Okay, so concrete is one of the adapting material. The second adapting material is the plywood. Plywood is made of lots of thin layers of wood glued and pressed together, with the grain of each alternating layer at 90 degrees to one another to strengthen it. The thickness of plywood depends on its intended purpose, and it may be strengthened even more by adding fiberglass or cotton fiber cloth between the layers. So you must know, if you are asked that how can plywood be strengthened, it can be strengthened by adding fiberglass or adding cotton fiber cloth between the layers. Plywood can resist bending, splitting, or cracking and is cheaper than solid wood. That is the second reinforcing or adapting material. And the third one is metal profiles used for reinforcing structures. So under metal profiles, we have an I-beam. Let's see, I will show you just now on the next page. We have an I-beam. An I-beam is made in the shape of an I. It is very stiff and can carry heavy loads. A T-beam is made in shape of a T. It is used to carry light loads. And we have the angle iron is made in the shape of L. It is used for cross bracing and triangulation. We have talked about this in the previous term. Okay, so metal profiles, we have I-beam for heavy loads, we have T-beams for light loads, and we have angle irons for cross bracing and triangulations. Okay, let's see these metal profiles. So you see here, this is your I-beam, this is your T-beam, this is your angle, what do they call it? It's the angle ion, okay? It's the L shape. So these are the three adapting materials, okay? Do we follow? Okay. Now on page 130 of your textbook, we are looking at the negative impact of technology. We have looked at the positive impact of technology, different fields where technology has a positive impact, advantages of technology, and we have looked at developing materials, which have got two types, which is developing materials and adapting materials. And under developing materials, we've got a list of materials: biodegradable, environmental friendly, and remanufactured. And under adapting material, we've got concrete, we've got different profiles and that we have learned, and we have plywood. Now we are looking at the negative impact of technology. Now let's look at the general disadvantages of technology, and you need to know this as well. Disadvantages of technology. Number one, the first disadvantage is pollution of water, ground and pollution of water, ground and air, because large quantities of waste are produced, such as paper, plastic, cardboard, tins, and glass. As we are busy improving our products, we have so much waste, okay? Waste of paper, plastic, cardboard, tins, and glass, okay? So with that, we can pollute either water, ground, and air, okay? So the first disadvantage of technology is pollution of water, ground, and air. And the second disadvantage is that most type of plastics are not biodegradable, okay, except for the one that we have learned about that is biodegradable. And so they say most types of plastics are not biodegradable and pose a permanent threat to the natural environment, okay. Plastic has the following characteristics. Number one, it is lightweight. It is a lightweight material. It is strong. It will not break easily or shatter when dropped. It is elastic. It can stretch and return to its original form. It pollutes the environment by accumulating in the ground. So this is important. Again, the characteristics of plastic, we've got four of them. You need to know them. It is lightweight. It is strong. It will not break easily or shatter when dropped. It is elastic, so it can stretch and return to its original form, and it pollutes the environment by accumulating in the ground. So far, we have dealt with two disadvantages of technology. The third one is destruction of the earth, non-renewable resources. For example, rainforest, metal deposit, fossil fuels like coal and oil. As we are busy with improving our technology, we use the non-renewable resources and they are almost being depleted. So this leads to destruction of its non-renewable resources. That is the third disadvantage. And the fourth one, the natural environment is altered at the expense of plant and animal life, thanks to technologies used in road construction and mining. So natural environment is altered at the expense of plant and animal life. So these are the disadvantages of technology. First one, pollution of water, ground, and air. I am repeating this so that you know what to study and how to study. Disadvantages of technology: pollution of water, ground, and air. Okay. Number 2, most plastics are not biodegradable. Number 3, destruction of Earth's non-renewable resources. Number 4, the natural environment is altered. Okay, over and above that, you need to know the characteristics of plastics. Plastics are lightweight, they are strong, they will not break easily, they are elastic, which means they can stretch and return to original form, and plastic pollutes the environment by accumulating in the ground. By that, we have already covered the disadvantages of plastic. So in the next page, page 131, you see pollution caused by the material that we use, either plastic or cardboard or whatnot, and also the air pollution, okay, from our production when we are busy improving our technology. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of technology. And let's look at lesson number 16. Lesson number 16, we are looking at ways on how to reduce the negative impact of technology. We know that technology can have a negative impact, and how do we reduce that? The negative impact of technology can be reduced by, amongst others, number 1, development. Number 2, education. Number 3, reduce. Number 4, reuse. Number 5, recycle. Okay, I will go and elaborate. And number 6 is remanufacture. So how can we reduce the negative of impact of technology? I repeat again, by development. Number 2, by education. By reducing. By reusing. By recycling. By remanufacturing. Okay, so let's look at each and every strategy. What do they mean by development? The development of new energy sources that do not rely on non-renewable sources on Earth. For example, fuel waste. Okay, and then education. What must we do? By educating people to use their energy resources responsibly. Okay, and reducing, using we must use materials sparingly and not waste materials. Consciously choosing to reduce the use of materials that have negative impact on the environment. For example, plastic bags. So you can choose to have your paper bag that you use every time you go to the shop, instead of always buying plastic bags and pollute with them. And then you can reuse. I think I've also explained using waste or recyclable material in your home for same purpose. For example, using empty margarine containers as storage containers, or using them for other purposes by making minor modification. For example, making holes in a tin, placing a candle inside and using it for lighting. So you can reuse most of the waste that you have. The fifth one is to recycle. Recycle is breaking the waste material down into their smallest parts so that they can be turned into another product or material. For example, by melting, grinding, or cutting the material into pieces. So you can take empty boxes, empty bottles, papers, and cans to a collection point or recycling depot, or try using them to make new products yourself. And you can use them as well to make your technology projects. Okay, and then remanufacture, make or manufacture products from waste or recycled material. So you see that is our sign for reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, this is a environmental friendly sign to show the 3 strategies that you can use to reduce the negative impact of technology. So you need to know all these 6 strategies. Okay, and please study and know them as they are. No stories, please. Okay, just make sure you visit your work now and then you study. Okay, this brings us to the end of our chapter on on the impact of technology. Okay, that we have just started, and this will be the only chapter for term 2. So the more you visit this chapter, you study, the more you will do well, and you revise your work for the previous term, for term 1, because that is going to be part of your June exam. So please study this, restudy, go back, revise, know everything, advantages, disadvantages, developed materials, strategies to reduce the negative impact of technology, fields where technology has positive impact, characteristics of plastic, disadvantages of technology. You need to know that. Okay, and in our next lesson I'm going to take you through the technology project or practical that we are going to have for term 2. Thank you. One more thing, please write the notes from page 126 to page 131, okay, to where we have ended, page 126 to 131. Let me see, 126, so that I can tell you where you need to study. So you will write the title, Impact of Technology and Processing, and you will start with the introduction. Okay, skip everything else, start with the introduction, and you go all the way, page 126. You write everything on your notebook. Page 127, you write everything. Okay, you don't have to skip space for the photos, it's okay, just continue and write everything. And when you get to page 129, from here, activity 14, you skip this section all the way. 129, you skip the section. 130, you skip the section, and you come to lesson number 15, the negative impact of technology. You start writing from here again. So you skip only activity 14. You start writing and you skip activity 15. You continue with lesson number 16, reducing the negative impact of technology. And then you write all the way until where we ended. These are the notes that I will check and sign. They must be in your notebook. Okay, enjoy. Bye.